Hey guys, so this is going to be my Baddies Gone Wild Season 1 rankings video. I would usually wait until after the reunion, but we've already gotten a lot of the reunion tea, and I don't see any of my opinions changing on this group of girls after seeing the finale. My overall ranking or grade for the season would be a 7.5 out of 10, which would be a C. It was definitely a solid first season to me. Definitely a better first season than Baddies had with Baddies ATL. I didn't like the jumping mentality and the bullying mentality that a lot of the girls had, but it overall was a pretty good show. And they didn't drag this season out how they dragged the Baddies seasons out, like Baddies Africa, Baddies Midwest, etc. We only got 12 episodes, and then I'm assuming we're going to get a 3-part reunion. So now we're going to get into each girl's individual letter grade, and we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So our 3 Fs are going to go to Cupcake, Hurricane M, and Coco Chanel. Cupcake, I heard that Cupcake showed her cupcake at the reunion to prove that she was a woman. That still doesn't prove anything to me because you can literally have surgery to get that when you're doing a transition. And the truth of the matter is Cupcake being trans really doesn't matter, and that's not the point. The only reason that matters is because she's on the show fighting biological women. But overall, my problem with Cupcake is that Cupcake is just a punk-ass bitch, a messy-ass bitch, tries to act like she's not messy, plays both sides, and just brought nothing to the show. And when you did fight, you got beat up by 2 people in the house who really can't even fight like that, Baddie and Janellis. Next, we got Hurricane M. You did nothing all season but have the same storyline over and over again with Jaden that Jaden was tired of having with you. You had nobody else to argue with because you really didn't want to try nobody else. The only other person you did try was Shay, and you lost that fight. Never got your get back on Shay until it was time to jump them outside the club. Then we got Coco Chanel. You're also a F. You did nothing all season but manipulate and try to be the puppet master like you was Julie from BGC 9. Meanwhile, you talking about you deserve a chain because nobody ever had to tell you to get in the paint. Us as the fans been telling you to get in the paint all season. You had a red eye on literally every episode except for episode 1. And it came from Daisy, and all you did was sit up under Daisy's ass and try to stay on Daisy's good side and turn her against Baddie. Now that the show is over, you allegedly helped to jump Daisy at the reunion, and now you popping it online and apologizing to Baddie. But that's not the energy you had on the show. Okay, so next we got our D's. So Rella, Ming, and TT got a D, and Gloss got a D+. Rella, nothing but an Ice Spice dupe. I thought she would have a lot of personality and stand out preseason, but she was really just a follower to Daisy, surprisingly, after Daisy tried to punk her at the beginning of the season about being from New York. But yeah, majority of the season, she ended up just following behind Daisy, TT, etc. Ming, same thing. You know, I thought she would have some personality. She's Nicki Minaj's sister. I thought she would have some personality and just some type of character of her own. But she blended into the background. She was a background character, a follower, and she was a punk. A sloppy drunk, barely stayed in the house, was in and out of the house, ducking smoke, ducking fades, let Oxy pop her with the water bottle. Ming was a disappointment as well. And then at the last episode, Rella and Ming still was both coming at Baddie. And Ming and Rella both weird because at times they was in Baddie's face being friendly with her. And then at the last episode, they both showed their true colors that they really don't like her. And they jealous just like the rest of the girls. TT really could have been an F with Hurricane M, Coco, and Cupcake. The only reason I gave her a D is because I do think she played a little bit more of a pivotal role in this first season. You know, I have to be fair, like who had the most screen time and who had the most relevant storylines? Baddie, Daisy, and then I would probably maybe throw TT in there just as somebody who was always causing drama and always being in fights. Like she was relevant to the season for majority of the season. But I definitely didn't like her. She was a bully, and she ended up being a crybaby about the baddie chain. And I heard that she got it at the reunion, so I feel like they only gave it to her for pity. It was like the Ocean's treatment on Jocelyn's Cabaret, like I'm a cry so I could win a prize. Now, Gloss Up falls along with this same group of basically the bullies of the house, Daisy, TT, Ming, Rella. But I gave Gloss a D+ because she did have glimpses of being real throughout the show. I like how when Ming was sloppy drunk, Gloss was the only one who really made sure she was good. And I like how when all the girls wanted to vote Baddie out, Gloss Up would always kind of speak up and say like, hey, I know y'all might not like Baddie, but I don't have a problem with her. And I feel like she shouldn't go home because even if y'all don't like her, she don't duck no fades and she always get in the paint. So I respected that she was like real about that. Even when it came to the last episode and everybody was talking shit to Baddie, Gloss Up actually didn't say anything to Baddie. She said something to Shay, Oxy, and Jaden. She left Baddie out of her rant. So I kind of like Gloss Up a little bit more than the rest of her crew, but she's still only a D+. Next, we got our C's. So Daisy is a C- and Oxy is a C+. Now, Daisy is very similar to TT. I feel like I could have put her as a D if I was just going off the actions that she showed and the personality and how much I ended up liking her by the end of the season, but I did move her up to a C minus because she was a star of the show. I feel like the two main people who would be memorable from this show and who could be considered like leaders in the house would be Daisy and Bahati. They had two crews and they were the leader of their two crews, in my opinion. Daisy also did have a first good 2 to 3 episodes. I feel like she started the season as a fan fave. TT didn't. So that also is why I put Daisy a little higher than TT. But Daisy ended up going downhill just like the rest of them. Definitely gives Rolly Jr. You know, she pulled Bahati's braid out. She's very unapologetic. And that's about it. Now moving on to Oxy. Oxy gets a C plus because Oxy was very off and on for me this season. Oxy did a lot of stuff that was weird to me, but then she did things that I liked. I liked that she always stood in the paint. She wasn't ducking no smoke even when her feet was hurting. And I do like the relationship that she formed with Bahati, Jaden, and Shay. And I like that when her and Shay got jumped, she wasn't scary. She was out there. But what I don't like was how she turned on Bahati and was trying to argue with Bahati. She kind of showed that she do get drunk and sloppy and then denies it and doesn't really take accountability for it. I also feel like she was low-key trying to be real friendly with those other girls, which is why she popped on Erica and jumped Erica with TT and Rella just for TT and Rella to turn around and not even like Oxy. So Oxy kind of was playing herself throughout the season. Another thing with Oxy that pissed me off was that episode where TT and Coco went in her room and flipped the beds right in front of her and she didn't do anything. And not really checking Daisy when Daisy kept playing in her face and trying to get her sent home. But she ended on a good note. So C plus for her. And I heard she also got her Baddies chain at the reunion. I do think she deserved hers more than TT. Okay, guys, so now we're in our B section. So I gave Erica a B minus, Janellis a B, and Jaden and Shay B pluses. Now, Erica got a B minus because she's very similar to Oxy to me. And when I say that, I mean that they both were trying to be friends with the Daisy, TT, Rella group. And then they ended up getting turned on by that same group. When Jaden and Shay's beds got moved by everybody, Erica was on their side. And when everybody was against Erica, Oxy was on their side. Just for those girls to turn around and turn against both Erica and Oxy. So they're very similar in that, right? The only thing that I really found different about them was that Erica chose to leave a little bit early. She was very in and out of the house and she was very quiet overall. They kind of forced her to get in the paint, and when she had to, she did. Oxy would have probably also been a B minus. The only thing that brought her down to a C plus for me was that she added on having that argument with Bahati when she got jumped, which was very unnecessary. If she hadn't had that argument with Bahati, she would have probably been a B minus, like Erica. So now moving on to Janellis. I gave Janellis a B. I really liked Janellis. I felt like she was cool. She was chilling. And she was kind of like, I'm not about to fight for nothing. So she had a few fights throughout the season, but I think she knew she really couldn't fight. But she wasn't scary. But she wasn't going to fight over too much BS either. And I told y'all I didn't really care about Janellis jumping Shay with Hurricane M because Shay was saying that Erica got what she deserved when she got jumped by TT, Oxy, and them. So it is what it is. The only thing I didn't like about Janellis, which is what brought her down to a B for me, was that I felt like she stuck up for herself. Like when Daisy and them would try to keep telling her she wasn't getting in the paint, she would say stuff back, but she wasn't saying it with enough aggression. Like it felt like she was constantly explaining herself to Daisy and TT and them that she is in the field and she's not scary, rather than just standing on business and letting it be known like, girl, I said what I said. You know what I mean? Like I could tell she didn't really want to get too crazy with Daisy. And probably TT either. You know, she had her fights at the beginning of the show with Shay, but I don't think she really wanted to fight no big dogs. Okay, so as far as Jaden and her B plus, when we first started the season and Hurricane M was saying that Jaden and her mom was saying the N-word, I didn't know if Jaden was going to be another Gretch or what. So I thought I wasn't going to like her. But throughout the season, we got to see that Hurricane M, TT, and a few of the other girls just continuously picked with Jaden because they felt like she was a weak link. But I like that she always got in the paint. She didn't do good. She always had that hoodie on getting beat up. But she wasn't scary, and I think she learned as she went. And she was also big on her loyalty with her friend group and not wanting her friends to break up, wanting her group to stick together, mediating issues between Oxy and Bahati. So I like Jaden. As far as Shay, same thing. At the beginning of the season, I didn't like Shay. I felt like she was nitpicking when she said she had a problem with all of the online audition pics. And I felt like she was looking for camera time and just trying to make sure that she had a big part of the season. I feel like when she got beat up by Daisy the first episode and then she kind of realized that all of the online girls was going to have a problem with her, Gloss Up, Ming, etc., she kind of did tone it down, but it was a little bit too late. And then the girls just kept picking with her. And as they continued to pick with her, that's when I started to like Shay. Because it was like, okay, at first I saw where y'all was coming from, but now y'all dragging it. Y'all doing too much. And Shay actually do got a little bit of hands. You know, she gets in the field. Definitely better than Jaden. So yeah. So B plus for Jaden and Shay. And then lastly, we have one A minus. That's our only A for this season. And that is our most valuable baddie. And of course, that is none other than Bahati. I feel like Bahati went through a lot on this show. From the beginning, the girls were picking with her, talking about her wig being tall. She got in the paint from the beginning. She whooped Cupcake. She whooped Rella. And Bahati really can't even fight like that, but she's not scared to get in the paint. And when she catch a good hit on your ass, she catch a good lick on your ass, she gonna get your ass. Even with Daisy, like Daisy won the fight overall, but when Bahati hit her that one good time and had Daisy leaking, it wasn't nothing that could be said. And then the main thing that makes her the most valuable baddie is that Daisy pulls out Bahati's braid. As we all know, all the girls were hating on her towards the end. And what did she do? Instead of leaving like Erica, she shaved her head and was like, I'm still a bad bitch and I'm making it to the end. And she got that baddie shame, and they was all mad about that. So shout out to Bahati, most valuable baddie for Baddies Going Wild Brazil season 1. And those are my Baddies Going Wild season 1 rankings for the girls and the overall season. I will see y'all tomorrow for Baddies Africa episode 12. If you're watching me on TikTok, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube. And if you're watching me on YouTube, make sure you follow me on TikTok. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.